in a tiny town called Stockton, Alabama, where every year the population grows by like 5,000% when hundreds, sometimes thousands of bikers swarm on this tiny little town just to have lunch and then turn around and go back home as far as Seattle, New York, and everywhere else. Check it out.
I'm John Harrison. I'm the host of the annual last ride of the year here at the Stagecoach Cafe in Stockton, Alabama. So this is our 25th anniversary of the event. My friend Ray Fagan started this 25 years ago as what we call a ride to eat in the long distance community, where he just have his friends from around the country show up, have lunch, talk a little bit, catch up on old times, and ride back to wherever they came from. And it's just started out with 5 or 6 guys at the old Stagecoach locations before they moved to the large one that we are at here, and it's just been growing ever since. Last year I didn't know if anybody was going to show up because we were in the middle of the whole COVID thing, and we had our biggest group ever. Over 700 bikes showed up last year. We got some threatening weather around here and some snow up north, so some of my long distance guys couldn't make it this time, but I think we're still probably over 400, maybe 500 bikes, for sure over 400 right now. But it's just, it's a fun time to meet some new friends. Doesn't matter what kind of bike you ride. We cruisers, sport bikes, long distance bikes, touring bikes, adventure bikes, vintage bikes. Everybody's welcome. And we give out 4 awards every year because Ray always liked to encourage new riders. So the youngest rider to ride their bike to the event. It's going to be the oldest, youngest rider we've ever had. You got to ride that bike. So in Alabama, that's 14 years old and up. Then we do the oldest rider to ride to the event because we like to keep people riding bikes, and usually you got to be over 80 to win that. And then we do the oldest motorcycle ridden to the event. We've had stuff as old as the 1940s win. Usually it's something in the 50s, 60s, or 70s, depending on who shows up. And you can't trailer your bike and ride it off, pull it off into the parking lot. You got to ride it here. 1960. 1950. And then because it started as a long distance kind of iron butt guy event, we do the longest distance ridden to the event. Normally that's going to be over 1,500 miles to get here. I don't know what it'll be this year with some of our guys up north of not being able to get out from the snow. But we're about to find out because we're going to do our award ceremony at 12 noon here in just a couple of minutes. All right, Ken, how far did you ride?
4,851 in 3 days.
So that is the highest mileage we've ever had for this award. Come on up.
Eddie Scott, oldest rider, 84. Well, just interested in everybody, you know, what they're doing, what they're riding, the interest they're keeping up in it and all.
I'm John Fleming, and this is Rita Fitzpatrick. We're from the Tampa Bay area, Florida. I've been on this Facebook page for 5 years, and I've known about this last ride of the year. Just come, it's a ride to eat. So you just ride there. So we did that. We rode up yesterday, about a 9-hour drive up there, and stayed overnight in Pensacola, and then rode up here today, and we're gonna eat, and then we're gonna ride again.
Jake Van Dersky from Escambia County, Florida, Cantonment area. It's my 91 Honda Africa Twin. Really last minute decided to come out. I saw a post yesterday. Took the ride over here with a couple of guys from Pensacola. Just glad to make it out. First event. It's really cool. I was out looking around. I figured there'd be someone younger than 28, but turns out I won something for it. So glad I showed up.
Hi, I'm Kenneth Andrews from Benton, Arkansas. They call me Go Home Ken. Hoka Hay rider number 863 and Iron Butt Rally rider number 594. Today's always special to come to Stagecoach. This is actually the 25th anniversary of the event. It's pretty incredible to see all the long distance riders and just the people in general. It's just such a mix of people that come together just to have a good time, say hello, get something to eat, and go their separate ways. So it's always a pleasure to show up to the event. I have a lot of friends, and a lot of them come here for this particular event, and it's basically the last ride here being from Arkansas, things get cold. It doesn't necessarily stop me from riding, but it really does inhibit it, and I have to be real careful where I do ride because kind of north gets cuts out because of the weather. But the weather just worked out perfect for this trip, so I made a big go and a big run, and it worked out pretty well for me. I've done this before. I actually won the longest distance award last year with like 1,260 miles. And I thought that was kind of a small mileage count. Because
But this week we are going to start just across the state line.
I was in 10 days, and I had a buddy of mine that told me last year that he was probably going to do 5,000 miles. And not being one that's real keen to like win an award like this twice, I said, well, I'm going to at least hold his feet to the fire, and I'm going to get somewhere close to 5,000 miles. That way, if he shows up with 5,000, I can say, hey, job well done, buddy. But he's not here. And I ended up riding a long way. So I left Sunday afternoon at 4 o'clock from Benton, Arkansas, and I rode to the California coast to Mission Beach. And then I turned right around, and that was after riding I rode a 1,800 mile day. And then I turned around and came all the way back to Daytona, Florida, and I did what's called a 50cc. You get 50 hours to go from coast to coast. So I went to Daytona Beach, Florida, landed there, turned around and rode up to Navarre Beach on the Gulf Coast, getting water and sand samples at all of them, and ended up with 4,851 miles in about 5 minutes short of 3 days.